Machiavelli's The Prince is one of the most important turning points in the history of Western political philosophy. It was written while Machiavelli himself was in retirement from active political life, 1532. And prior to that, he had worked for the Medici family in Florence. And he was one of the great dark characters in the history of Western thought. In some respects, he's kind of like the Darth Vader of philosophy. He represents all that is evil and unholy. In some respect, the spiritual antipode of someone like Marcus Aurelius. Machiavelli is a very secular, this worldly sort of thinker. He's the kind of person that Plato warned us about. The kind of man who self-consciously seeks only the gratification of his desire for political power. A man who turns ruthlessness and treachery into matters of principle. And that's what makes him so good at them. It's not that he's treacherous or lying or faithless or ruthless once in a while. He's that way all the time. He's turned it into a system. In that respect, the writings of Machiavelli, which are not limited to The Prince, he also wrote a number of historical works, a work called The Discourse on Livy. He studied Roman history a great deal. Machiavelli's works are kind of handbook on how to be bad, particularly how to be politically treacherous, how to gain power. For Machiavelli, the ultimate good for human beings is the attainment of political power, and he is not choosy about the means. Whatever works, works. He is among the most practical of men. Machiavelli thinks that's wonderful. Machiavelli says that warms his heart, makes him feel that finally somebody sees through the lies and the illusions and the pretensions of conventional morality. For Machiavelli, we live in the jungle. We live in a totally amoral universe, independent of scripture, independent of revealed religion, independent of the will of God. There's only the will of man. In that respect, Machiavelli is a path-breaking political philosopher, no matter how evil or pernicious his teachings. We ignore him at our peril, and like it or not, there is a dark and sparkling brilliance to this, like black diamonds. You look at it and you realize that, however horrifying his conclusions, there's a certain grim truth in what he says. Machiavelli wishes to liberate us from what he views as being childish, insipid guilt feelings about political morality. There are no rules in politics in the same way and for the same reason there are no rules in nature. With Machiavelli, we have one of the great restatements of a political theme introduced in Western political thought in the first book of the Republic. If you stretch your memory back to Professor Ricchiuti's lectures last time, when he talked about the Republic, in the first book of the Republic, Socrates' primary antagonist is a man named Thrasymachus. He's a sophist, and Thrasymachus holds the view that justice is the advantage of the stronger. In other words, whoever it is that has the most force, the most military power, makes the rules, and justice is whatever they tell you to do. So when the Nazis win, whatever they tell you to do is just. If the Stalinists win, whatever they tell you is just. If Machiavelli wins, or the Borgias win, doesn't matter, as long as they have the power to coerce you, whatever they tell you is just. Thrasymachus' view, then, is that justice is a simple matter of coercion, and there is no moral order to the world. Now, this view is thoroughly criticized and at least apparently refuted in the first book of the Republic. But like all profound ideas, resonance of it is always, at least implicitly, in the Western political tradition. And Machiavelli regains the nerve to say there is no moral order to the world. He's the first man to reassert what Thrasymachus said in the first book of the Republic, that we live peculiarly and exclusively here in the realm of nature, that there is no metaphysical realm by which to judge the good and evil of human actions.